people who say they want what's best for black communities, but yet you're trying to put them in a position where they have less policing and therefore more crime. As policing has dropped, crime did not drop with it. Crime has increased. 5 political differences that will change how black Americans vote forever. What up, doe? It's Johnny America. Today I'm breaking down 5 political differences between the left and the right that every black American man needs to know. This isn't about party loyalty, it's about what's actually best for our community. Hit subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get into it. Difference number 1, economic opportunity. The left focuses on government assistance, welfare, food stamps, housing programs, even universal basic income, like Magdani in New York. The idea is to lift black families out of poverty with a safety net. But the right says this just creates dependency and holds black people back. Instead, the right pushes black business ownership, entrepreneurship, tax cuts for small businesses, and cutting red tape for new companies to get started and to actually grow. Now, which one actually builds generational wealth? Is it monthly government checks or building your own business from the ground up that we actually need? I'll tell you this. What I've discovered among black people is black people who start making money, and I would say it's at that $80,000 threshold. Once a black man starts making above $80,000, especially with potential to make more and more and more, and he starts seeing how much of his paycheck goes away to taxes and to programs like I just mentioned, welfare, food stamps, Section 8, and all these things, then you start thinking differently about, like, wait a minute, I don't want my money going to that. I don't want my money going to people that ain't doing nothing. Not saying that everybody is on welfare ain't doing nothing, but a lot of them ain't doing nothing. And that you've seen these people grow. You grew up with these people and know that they had the same opportunities that you did. They just didn't capitalize. Let me know what you think in the comments. Difference number 2, criminal justice. The left wants to reform the system, defund the police, end mass incarceration, and focus on rehabilitation. They say the system is stacked against us and needs an overhaul, which could very well be true. Now, the right argues tough on crime policies actually protect black neighborhoods from violence and drugs. And coming from a black neighborhood, I would have to agree with that. When we saw police, if you wasn't a criminal, when you saw police, you was happy to see them. I grew up in Detroit, in the hood. But if you were doing no good, then you didn't want to see the police. Like, it's plain and simple. Like, so you're going to want more police presence if you're not doing crime. The ones that defend this is weirdly the people who say they want what's best for black communities, but yet you're trying to put them in a position where they have less policing and therefore more crime. As policing has dropped, crime did not drop with it. Crime has increased. So therefore, that's kind of very obvious that we need less crime, more policing. Pretty simple. The right says that more policing means safer streets, and I agree. So what's better for our community? Reform or enforcement? And it's not everybody that's being crazy. It's a small percentage that needs the enforcing. And once you have that enforcing, I'm thinking about Chicago the whole time, but once you have that enforcing, then crime will drop. Most people are just like you and me. We're not criminals. We're not out here trying to harm anybody. We're not out here trying to rob anyone. We're not out here selling drugs. We have careers and jobs. We're not out here doing the crazy stuff. So it's like, don't let them trick you and guilt you out of protecting your neighborhoods and our women and our children. We have to protect them by getting the bad apples out. How do you get the bad apples out? Policing. Eliminate the stop snitching thing from your vocabulary. Black people need to remove that theory because it's a demonic ideal that's hurting the black neighborhoods. Oh, I'm not gonna snitch. I'm not gonna tell. You need to tell. What is wrong with you? Are you gonna continue to be terrorized just because you got some loyalty and some honor? Do the thieves and the robbers and the drug dealers and the bankers, do they got any honor? No. It'd be different if they followed a code. That's when the no snitching thing was a thing, was when there was a street code. But these young YNs ain't honoring no code. They'll rob your grandma. They have no code. Back in my day, if you was in the streets and you went and robbed somebody's grandma and they heard about it, oh, everybody coming down on you. You about to be up out of here, one way or the other. That's a code. But they don't have a code. So don't follow the I'm not gonna snitch code. I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, share your thoughts, please, because it helps me understand what everybody else is thinking. And again, don't just attack. Let's have a conversation. I reply to all the comments. Difference number 3. Now, this is a big one here. Education. This difference, education, is the biggest difference to me. And it was very simple. The left wants to pour more and more money into public schools, hoping to fix them from the inside. But notice it never gets fixed. No matter how much more and more and more money they get per student, the hood schools are always the worst. And in a lot of communities, the worst schools are getting the most fun. Probably my biggest argument for left versus the right. Here it is. Let's say we live in the opposite world where kids that want to learn something are seen as bad or weird or whatever. And then the ones that don't want to learn nothing and just want to be in the streets and do mumble rap or whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? So if you just want to go to school and get an education, do you know how almost impossible that is for your child who wants to go to school and get an education to get an education amongst all these other hood kids that's acting crazy? Like, it's almost impossible for them to get a good education like that. It makes it incredibly hard. And then they're probably getting bullied because they're not doing the things that everybody else is doing. Now, the right supports school of choice, charter schools, vouchers, letting parents pick the best school for their kids instead of them having to go to the school that their economic situation puts them in. They can get a choice and say, hey, no, I want my kid to go to a better school. I don't care if I have to drive them over there and pay the extra money to drive them over there. I'm sacrificing for my kid to get an education. Now, which approach gives black kids the best opportunity at success? Going to the hood school or going to a better school? Now, why would the left, who seems like they're always on your side, not want your kids to go to better schools? And by the way, those better schools are the schools that the left's kids go to.
At the very private, very elite Sidwell Friends School. It's the same school once attended by Nancy Reagan, Chelsea Clinton, and scores of other children of Washington's rich and or powerful.
And I mean the left as in the politics, the leaders. Their kids ain't going to the hood schools. No. They want your kids to go to the hood schools. They'll fight. That's the number one thing that is the number one identifier of what neighborhoods the left, white people, want to live in based on the schools. But they want you to keep going to those schools, and they want your kids to keep going to those effed up schools. Now, have you ever seen school of choice work in your area? Or are you one of those people that's just against school of choice and against charter schools? Because I've seen it work. I've seen it be better. I know the narratives that they say. Oh, well, they don't always work. And sometimes their kids get worse than over there. Nah, I've seen a lot of kids graduate out of school of choices in charter schools. Now, here's the fourth difference. faith and values. The left keeps church and state totally separate, focusing on secular policies, while the right embraces faith-based solutions, church programs, faith in schools, religious community outreach. And that's the other thing about being able to have a school of choice. If you want your kid to go to a Christian school or a Christian-based school, now you have a choice. They don't want you to have a choice. This is the party of liberalism. They really don't want you to have that much liberalism, actually. They want your kids to learn the same thing and be in the same environments where most of the kids are failing. So wouldn't that make you not want to do that? Why would they want that for you? These are the same group of people that are saying, oh, don't say thoughts and prayers because they were praying. In other words, oh, the prayer don't work. Don't say prayer because prayer don't work. That's what they're implying. Now, which aligns with your family's values? Did you grow up in church? Do you still believe in God? Or have you completely walked away from God? Now, here's the last one. And this one's important. Community investment. Now, the left relies on government programs and handouts to lift the communities up, while the right encourages private businesses to invest, create jobs, and build up neighborhoods from within. The right encourages private businesses to invest, create jobs, and build up neighborhoods from within. Now, which creates real, lasting change in the Black community? Just think about that. If you're getting all your stuff from handouts, how is that going to create lasting change? As soon as the handouts stop, every 4 years, it's a new president, it's a Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Policies go and come back, go and come back. So it's not going to create anything lasting. But when you're doing it from within, then you're creating something lasting that it doesn't matter if the country goes left or right, you still good. I'm telling you, as you start making more money, you will see like, yeah, this ain't for me because I don't want a handout and I don't want all my money going to people who want handouts. So after hearing these 5 differences, which side do you think represents Black American men? Drop your answer below. Let's have a real conversation. If you learned something new, hit that like button and subscribe for more honest takes. And don't forget, think for yourself and keep fighting for what's best for our community.